Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, I'm joined by Baker. Evening, mate. Welcome back. How are we doing?
We're back. It's
I
been
realised
so
it's
long.
like 2 months. It's like the worst. It's been the weirdest international break with FA Cup and stuff like that. I realised that in less than 2 months, the season will be over. We will be done.
Happy Mother's Day
Yeah.
for those.
What did you do today?
Well, went out for lunch with mum and dad. My dad
Seems
actually
reasonable.
said to me at lunch, said, "What's happened to your podcast?" And I was, "What do you mean?" He said, "I've noticed," which means he subscribes. Adorable. He said, "I haven't seen anything for ages. Is it all right? Is it okay?" I was like, "There's no football, Dad." Oh, I thought there'd be lots to talk about. After today, there'll be a few things to talk about. I don't think I quite realised there'd be this much to talk about.
I was pretty chilled today until Haaland went off injured, and I was literally just helping get stuff sorted for dinner, and just saw him on the floor, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't need this."
I didn't need to reel back a bit. How on earth did you get to play golf with your dad today on Mother's Day?
Well, my parents are up for the week, and it was going to be me, my mum, and my dad, but because it's
Oh yeah, mum
generally
plays
so
well.
wet
Yeah.
up here, couldn't do a buggy, so it's better if my mum has a buggy at the moment. So she was just like, "Oh, why don't you two go and play?" Which kind of cornered my wife a bit.
Did you do it? Did you do that? Oh God, could we? Dad.
Well, not only that, my wife actually made roast dinner as well. So she made lunch.
Oh mate, you've done it.
I mean, I did get a message. I did get a message halfway through.
And now you're podding.
Oh God, yeah. I did get a message halfway through the game of golf, and she was like, "I'm having the fucking TV tonight." I was like, "You can have whatever you want. It's fine."
I have noticed that. Do you know? Have you noticed that? I noticed that is my wife has complained during this break that, oh, when am I going to get to watch my programs? And I'm like, I'm noting that down. I'm noting that down that I'm not abandoning you. You thoroughly enjoy the fact that I clear off to do my silly little things up here.
Yeah. So I play golf. I didn't play very good golf, in fairness. I probably would have been better off just staying at home.
It was the guilt. It was the guilt.
It was the guilt. And the swing and the putting and everything. The putting. And yeah, I do want to say before we go any further, I've got a little bit of a life update as well. So there's going to be one of our streams that we're not going to be able to do. We're not going to be able to do the Fireball
days
stream.
are over. I haven't got a whiskey here, so you tell my story. I'm going to pour myself a Fireball.
Sure, mate. So I spoke to the guys in Discord, and basically I've got some kind of rare form of arthritis. And so basically what it means is I need to go on to some medication called methotrexate, which is like, basically my consultant said I can have like 5 units a week of alcohol once I'm on the medication, which is probably not conducive to 25 shots of Fireball in 2 hours. And I kind of figured that the health thing was probably more important than the Fireballs. So I'm enjoying a whiskey and Coke now because I'm not on the medication yet, but I probably will. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to bin alcohol completely, which will make things a little bit different. But we'll see.
When you told me, I Googled, and it was more widespread than I thought it was. So what I'm hoping here is that there's somebody listening to this that has been in your situation and is going to send us some nice information that means that we can still do fireballs.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
I think
responsibly.
I don't think it's good. Yeah, responsibly. I don't think it's going to. It's not going to impact the occasional Fireball. I mean, in theory, because I can only have a certain amount of units per week, I could literally not drink at all and then just do 2 Fireballs on stream every week. In theory,
just basically the way I live is I have my whiskey on a Sunday night, maybe have a Guinness during the week if I'm playing golf, and that's my life. So
yeah,
it's not too far.
No. But like work nights out and fest type things and that sort of thing is going to be a thing of the past.
A dry affair.
A dry affair. Well, at least I won't get Reddit threads about me and all that sort of stuff, so it'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's a bonus. It's a bonus. So yeah, so game week 30 on Tuesday. Just realizing as well, Tottenham Chelsea on Thursday,
On Thursday.
which isn't going to be that much fun. And I think prior to Haaland, I think it was just really sort of kind of one of us was leaning towards wildcard. I think I'm leaning more that way. Yeah, you. I think obviously I'm now leaning more that way because we were talking about this pre-pod and we were setting up the slides that we've got and the scenes and all this sort of stuff, and we're saying, well, that has changed everything in the sense that you felt like you were a little bit behind.
Yeah. So obviously I haven't got Haaland. That's I mean, absolute jam of jams is that I don't get Haaland last game week, which means that I captain Bruno. It's not like you who had both and still chose to it. I definitely would have captained Haaland if I had him. Didn't get him. Didn't do it. But then I have no Palace, and I have no City, and therefore, and I've only got one Newcastle, and that's the other huge bit of jam for me is that I've kept Salah and Isak, so all that value is still in them.
We'll see that come to light later.
And then it's, but obviously with the Palmer thing, with the Wood thing, and I've only got one sub probably for this game week, and so I was in the thing where it's basically for me is a case of the only way I'd get Haaland would be wildcarding, then or I can make one move, which still could be where I ended up, and it still could have been where I'd have gone to. What that one move is interesting for me because it's like if you have to get one Palace this week, which one do you get?
Yeah.
And now, like obviously, you've got Mateta or Marmoush, really effectively. But if I get, say for example, I do Wood to Mateta or Marmoush, it means I have to bench one of Bumo or Bruno. Don't really want to do that either. So probably if it's like a one move, it'll be Robinson to Munoz because that's the weakest link sort of in my team. Which means I was like, I can get by if I just do that, but I'll still be fearing the attacks that are playing Leicester and that are playing Southampton. Or I could just wildcard. And one of the reasons why I liked the idea of the wildcard in 30 was if I make a transfer now, then I wildcard in 31, then I've still only got, say, one transfer in 32. Then I've potentially only got two transfers in 33 if nothing goes wrong. And I want to play my bench boost and in probably one of those 2 game weeks. And ideally, what I'd have loved is to get to like 35, come out a free hit, and have like 2 or 3 transfers still then. I saw our friend Andy Martin in the chat, but obviously he played his free hit in 29, had 3 transfers to come into game week 30. That puts a really strong position now. That's a nuance we've never had before. It works. Like I was messing with him on earlier on Twitter around the fact that I think you just need to get jammy on the free hit week. Well, that is right to an extent. Now, obviously, he would buy it because he hasn't got jammy on it because he had free transfers. So no matter what happened, he was going to be fine.
Yeah.
His strategy was robust. But there's a lot of people that were just like, well, I haven't got any players this week. I'll bang free hit 29. And now they're coming back to Salah, Isak, no Haaland in their team, had no way of getting it, and they're fine.
Yeah.
But obviously, Haaland's out. Yeah, I really am in 2 minds now of whether I still go with the plan, and actually I feel like I'd be in a really good position if I was to do it because I've got really good value tied up in those guys that I've not sold. Or whether you just wait a few days because we've seen how much just happens.
A lot happens, but there's a lot of time, right? We've had a lot of time happen for all these things to occur. Whereas we're coming into a period now where, the deadlines are going to be, or especially for the next couple of weeks, it's just going to be, everything's going to happen a little bit faster, right? So,
Yeah.
we've got a deadline on Tuesday, then we're straight into it on Saturday. And then we're already thinking about doubles potentially, like 32,
Yeah.
33, right? So there's
Bang.
it's all just kind of just happening week after week.
But what that does mean is if you do get an injury, your player almost certainly misses multiple weeks very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So
But I don't think you're going to have problems in finding players to pivot to, because there's always going to be. I mean, I think you'll always have players to pivot to. It'll be fine.
yeah. So what about you?
Well, that's the big thing, right? I obviously sold Salah and Isak in 29 to get Bruno and Haaland. No, I don't hate the Bruno fixture this week. It's fine, it feels okay. Obviously, Forest played this weekend
minutes.
and played 120 minutes, so it's kind of nice. But I've got no Palace. I've now got no Newcastle. I've got Haaland, who's not fit. I've got no
on crutches.
I've got Dango and not Cliver. Like, even if I had like Cliver instead of Dango, I'd feel better because I've got one of the players against Ipswich. So I'm in a position where actually I feel like I need 6 players and I don't have any transfers. And because, we'll go again. This comes later, but like, we're looking at wildcard drafts, that the opportunity for me to get up to teams that you can get up to is it's physically impossible for me to get to certain teams.
But what you have done is you had a lot of these issues, bar Haaland, you had already.
Yeah, that's fair.
But one of the reasons where you wouldn't necessarily have wanted to have done the wild card this week is that every other fucker was going to do it in a few days' time, and you were like, I'm immediately one step behind.
Yeah,
because that literally is the only thing that was almost putting me off it, was a case of, am I going to be a step behind? Like it. Whereas now, because there's so little double, so let's just cover this double situation of what we know, because there'll be people that don't know in this one. And Krellin, obviously, as always, is
I put it into a
brilliant to look at
thing, but I didn't rename it, so I'm hoping it's this one. There we go.
There he is. Good old Ben. So in 32, we have a double for Crystal Palace and Newcastle. Yep. In 33, we haven't got any confirmed doubles. So people will be like, well, why are people now looking at 30 when everyone said you got to wait to 31 for the information? There's not as much information to get as there was previously. So to explain why that would be the case is Crystal Palace Arsenal, it's pretty much nailed on. It'll go 33. Man City, their double is against Villa. Villa are still in the Champions League. That'll go into 33. And that's it. It's so Crystal Palace and Arsenal, Man City and Villa, they'll fall in. Why we think that's it is that Forest are playing Brentford. Forest play the Monday night game, I think in 35 and in 32, I believe it is. That they're or maybe it's 33. Sorry, 33 and 35. I think it is that they play it.
33 Monday is against us, and then 35 the Monday is against Palace. Yeah.
So therefore, what the sensible thing to do is just put their midweek into 33. 34, 34. Sorry. Just keep it still in that week.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would also get horrendous towards the end of the season for them, and they're chasing Champions League, and they're still in the FA Cup final. It would just be a real kicker for them if they suddenly got an extra game chucked in.
Yeah.
So the sensible thing is just keep theirs in 34. So therefore, we've only got 2 doubles moving from 34 to 33, which means if you have used your free hit, fantastic news, because what's worked out really well for you is the blanks there's only 4 teams blanking in 34. And if you're, if you want to go now, you kind of know what's going to happen. Yeah. It's fine. fine. And the teams that you want, most of them have got really good fixtures in. So Arsenal, home to Fulham. Yeah, Arsenal fresh, Fulham not fresh, just played on the week. Really good defence. That's where most people have got the players, if they've got any players for them, or they want the players for them. They double, fantastic. Villa, not many people are getting Villa anyway. And if you do get them, you'll be cheap ones at your stash. So you can get them now. And then Palace and Man City are playing Southampton and Leicester.
Just all perfect entry points.
Yeah, like what? Realistically, I still keep telling myself. I keep looking at it to myself and saying, "What? What am I waiting for?"
Like yeah, exactly. The thing is if you wait a week, then you're missing the best fixtures for these teams for players that you don't have.
Exactly.
So it's like, well, and yes, you'll have Bruno. But after that, he's in the bin anyway.
Yeah, and
It's
then
more about who you're going to get.
I guess it's the players from those doubled-in teams of how much you want them. But if you think about Raya and Gabriel, for example, well, they'll be on anybody's team. Anybody's wildcard. The majority of people will have Raya and Gabriel.
Yeah.
Raya will be almost if they can afford it or not. But if they can, they'll probably have both those two. Fine. Palace, there's like 5 good assets in Palace. Whether it's Henderson, Munoz, Sarr, Eze, Mateta, they're all really good.
Yeah.
Pick your 3 that you like. It's there. If you want Villa guys, then it's probably in defence. It's probably Dina that people are going to look at. If it's midfield, it's Rodgers. Asensio, you're like, do I trust the minutes and all that stuff? You could get fun with Rashford, but I suspect if you were picking now, you'd go the cheap one and then you'd move one of your guys on, like a Cliver, for example, might become a Asensio or a Rashford in 33. But that's pretty easy. And then Man City, well, if someone's going to defender, they want Vardiol. That's what they want. And then
They have no
I think
midfielders.
Savino's probably just talked himself out of it, albeit he missed the game today because Mother's Day and his wife just gave birth and all that business. But now you're like, well, if I don't get Haaland for Leicester, I'll probably just do what I just done for the rest of the season, which is I'll ignore him.
Yeah.
Because if he's left on crutches, it's not just midweek, is that suddenly on the weekend it's Man United, and then once you've gone past you can't carry a guy at 15 million, can you, for 2 weeks?
No.
You can't stick him on your bench. So Marmoush comes just a much better asset. I tweeted earlier, but obviously didn't start today, but it was the last day of Ramadan. It was probably the nicest day of the year, and it was a 4:30 kickoff. Like those things are all adding up to. Don't play him today. Play him Wednesday.
Yeah. He's playing when he's fresh.
Yeah. So it's all there, I think. Everything that we might need to do is there.
Would you be looking at? I mean, I would probably prefer to start with like triple Arsenal defense. Where does Saka come into this? Because I find it difficult. Because I think you'll lose too much opportunity in the next few weeks. Fulham, Everton, Brentford, Ipswich. Like, do they concede a goal in those 4 weeks? Maybe not. Maybe not.
The question you have to ask yourself is the Palmer question. The Palmer question is a big question, because obviously, if you don't go if you go triple Arsenal, I wouldn't even bother with Palmer. I'd take Palmer out, and spread the money elsewhere, because triple Arsenal defense is really, really expensive.
Yeah.
But if you can go double and keep Palmer, providing we get some good signs tomorrow, not today, it's a bit late, but tomorrow and Tuesday that we see signs. I mean, we've got signs that he's training. You'd still want to hear some good stuff that he's all good. Then Palmer's also got Tottenham this week, Brentford away, which is still a good fixture. Brentford's always a good fixture for attackers. Then he's got Ipswich at home. And then you can pivot potentially Palmer to any midfielder.
Yeah.
Because let's just say, for example, Foden becomes the boy again, because he likes to sometimes, then you've got that option of go to Foden. If Saka is back, then you've got the option to go to Saka. I think if you can do double Arsenal and keep Palmer, I like it more.
I'm just thinking. I know everyone's getting Gabriel in, or has Gabriel.
Mm.
Why? Like, why did we get him in? Let's think about why we got him in the first place. We're talking about attacking threat, right?
Well, it's not just attacking threat. He is good on the baseline. So his bonus does okay. He is a big threat. He can score in any game week. And he plays for the best defense. Like it's just like do you need to get crazy with that decision?
Yeah. Okay. I just wonder if
Timber's one I'm wrestling with in that world because I think Timber's quite a bit cheaper and can play both sides. But there's still that thing of like, what if Ben White, like they've just had a break, what if Ben White just suddenly comes back in?
Yeah.
Because he's around, Ben, right? Just feels like Timber's got the place.
Yeah, it's just I'm thinking in my sort of scenario where, we're looking at different wildcard drafts and we have to sacrifice money in places.
Mm.
Right? It's very challenging to go to like a Gabriel.
I'd sacrifice it on Raya, mate. If I was to sacrifice it, I just think is the difference between one keeper and the next isn't just that big. Albeit I listened to Optimized and Sertat was saying I think something like 6 of the remaining game weeks he's down as the top keeper, and you're like, oh, okay.
I mean, Raya's baseline's better than Gabriel's. I know he can score in a game week. Saliba's obviously best.
Mm. We'll see Tommy on the chat, and he mentioned obviously Saka back in corners soon as well. Saka back on corners
Probably might make Gabriel
even
better. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
A really good point.
Yeah,
Tommy, tell us as you're in the chat what you think about Timber. Is that how good a pick is Timber? Really, basically, I think because he's an interesting one for a extra defender. I think.
Yeah, it's tough because I remember when we were speaking to, or you spoke to Ted, and we were talking about the set pieces piece, and it's all about multiple targets. And you just keep thinking back to like Havertz is injured, that's one target gone, right? Jesus is injured, that's another target just gone. Now I know they've got like Marino in there now and what have you, but these are not the players from the start of the season that were part of this like set piece unit. Saka will improve it. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. One to think about, and that's a fair point on keepers. I mean, I just hate keepers, to be fair.
Hate them
as well. Just hate them.
As we're looking at these ones, what do you think about Trippier on Wildcard?
That was so wild that came round like as a punt. I don't really see it. I don't get it. He's so expensive. It's like 5.5.
Yeah,
I just feel
5.4. Feels slightly better than that. But like you say, when Timber's sitting like 5.6. Oh no, he's still 5.6. He's still 5.6.
Trippier.
So he must have been 6 million and dropped to 5.6, is he?
It's just, I mean, I don't get it.
And shares 5.4.
Why do you think everyone's going like Livramento? Livramento is what? He must be like 4.6.
4.5.
4.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go there and just be done. If you want a Newcastle defender,
and would you go Livramento over Burn?
No, I'd probably just get Dan Burn.
It's those bloody bookings. What if he just gets banned for the bloody double game week?
Just take 4 points and just get Livramento in then. Just take the risk on it.
What's he? 0.1 difference. 0.1 difference.
I need every penny, mate. I need every penny.
Yeah. Funny enough, I think a lot of people will do where it goes. So if everyone starts picking Dan Burn, which I reckon is what people do, people will be like, well, if I get a price rise out of it, then that'll swing me the way. That's what I want to do.
All right.
Yeah.
How many yellows is he on? Is he on 9? He's only got to get a couple of weeks, isn't he?
Is it?
They got to get through 32 games, right?
Is
32.
it 8 or 9?
Oh, it's like type burn into SofaScore and just get fucking Burnley.
8.
8. Oh, he's fine then. He's fine.
It'd chill out if he gets one more.
He's fine. How many games they played? 20. Oh, 28. Yeah, I suppose. They've still got to play 4 more games. He's got to get one booking in 4 games. He's had 8 in
Oh, you can
28.
get one. You can get one.
Exactly. One booking in 4 games, and he's had 8 in 28. Don't like my odds on that one.
Yeah, no, that's all right. No, he's going to get 2 in 4 games, isn't it?
Well, 2 in 4 games to get banned, yeah.
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 Well, he's not got 50% ratio at the moment.
Like 1 in 3. So
you just need to
get 1 in the next 3, and that last one is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, he's tough. He's tough.
Yeah.
So you're siding towards it, are you?
I think I have to. Like, look, let's go teams, right? Oh, and before we go teams, just shout out to everyone who's joined us in the chat. So 370. Wow, 370 people. That's mad.
People are going to press the button.
That's true.
I think it's going to be.
This is true.
I think it's going to be real popular.
Yeah. So shout out if you're in the chat. Make sure you drop a like on the video. If you're watching back, hit like on the video. If you want to see more from us, drop a subscribe on the channel. That would be much appreciated. And yeah, if you want to join us over on Patreon, patreon.com/AboveAverageFPL, QR code on the screen, and you can come and join our April Beat Baker competition, which is for some of this wonderful, like, never say die bourbon whiskey. I'm drinking it with Coke Zero at the moment, which I will be for a short amount of time. But it is nice. I mean, like, I had it last week with a bit of water, and that's not me. That's not me. But just like this is nice. No ice, nothing. It's fine.
The beauty of it as well is because it's bourbon, you can get away with it. Like, you live in Aberdeen, you couldn't do that with Scotch.
No. No.
You would not be getting away with that.
No.
But it's glorious.
And so April Beat Baker, we got 5 game weeks. 5 game weeks. Plenty of opportunity to beat Baker.
And chip weeks and a free hit week potentially as well.
There's plenty going on. So yeah, get involved in the Patreon. We've got Last Man Standing coming to an end pretty shortly. There's only 3 left. And then FPL Blackjack still going on this one. There's about 8 left, I think, something like that. We've got our So Rare challenge, where you can get So Rare cards for free. All sorts of stuff. Baker obviously does his. Baker's obviously doing videos over on Patreon. That's for free members. Don't even have to join the paid site. It's just all free at the moment. So yeah, just need to give over your email address and ta-da! Lovely Baker video.
Like, I haven't got the production skills of you. It's literally me in the corner sharing my screen doing some stuff. But what I would say is one of the weird things when you do it, you're like, because you do it on Patreon, you're like, is anyone going to know about this? Like because you're like, I don't understand, someone will find it. If you are a free member, whenever we do a video, which will be free, you'll get an email telling you, hey, here's the video. That makes it really easy for you. So even, rather than wait until we do one and then think I'll go and look at it, if you just do that QR code, do the free membership, then whenever we do one, you'll get the free content just delivered straight to your inbox. Yeah. So a lot easier if you do that than have to wait for a tweet or wait for a post on YouTube or do that stuff.
Yeah.
And look, for a lot of people, we make nothing from those. We get no adverts. We get nothing from it. So it would be nice for us though if you it feels like you're part of a family.
Indeed. And so yeah, so back to my team. So this is kind of like how I'm set up at the moment. This was me like 6 hours ago. Feeling very nice with my Haaland cap against Leicester. No issues with Palmer. Back in training. Maybe looking to switch to some Palace. So, I've got the wrong Bournemouth guy. I've got, not 120 minutes of João Pedro. He obviously came on sort of later on in the game, which is fine. But then I've now got Haaland injured. I've got no Palace. I've got just bad players in places where I don't want them, to be honest. Yeah. That's it. And I want to keep. So I think my mantra for so I'm at 625k. apart from the doubles, like in the single game weeks, I want to be targeting the promoted sides every single week. I want to target them, and I don't mind taking a hit to target the promoted sides.
Yeah.
It's fruitful. It happens. It comes off. I'm sure someone has already done the research on this, on how often, if you'd have made a -4 for a couple of players that were playing promoted sides, how often would that have paid off? And I think that hit rate is a lot higher than people think. Because
Great.
Southampton are bad, Leicester are bad, Ipswich are bad. They just are. And they're targetable for FPL. And so outside of doubles, that's where my focus is going to be. And I can't, the only thing I was going to do here maybe was like a Bumo and Wissa, Eze Mateta or Sar Mateta, something like that.
Yep.
Pre-wildcard, 1 week punt type thing. Take the -4, get 30 points and be like, look at my genius transfers. But now I can't do that because Haaland's injured. And I haven't got Salah. And it's like, I've got no real captain option.
No, and that's
the biggest thing.
Another thing, isn't it?
Because the biggest thing.
Palmer is a captain option, but one to get to Tottenham. But two, it's on a Thursday, and it's like 2 days after the game week. It's just not ideal.
Yeah. So I don't love
there's enough.
Team. There's enough.
There's enough.
Yeah, it's like I want 5 or 6 players, and once you get to 5 or 6, it's like, well, just hit the button.
Especially if you would take a hit for a player that you would select on wildcard next week. You're like, what's the point? Do you know? Remember you talked to me the other week about you did the -8 and you brought Son and Kane in versus Leicester, and they went nuts and stuff. But the good part about that was you didn't have to have them in your team the week after.
I didn't, and also Son and Kane were like literally the only players that would ever score points for Spurs. It was quite simply obvious.
So, bringing people in, that's almost like it's a dead end transfer in that I'm going to take that guy out. I get it, but bringing people in that you'll also want in 31, you're like, what am I gaining here? I'm using one of my beloved transfers, and then I'm making one less transfer when I'm on wildcard. I don't get it really. I don't get it with those ones. So I think.
I mean, I think I wasn't.
I think you've got some tinkering to do, mate.
Well, I think I wasn't there, but I think I am there. So I think it's not ideal because I've got a busy day at work tomorrow. But I think I'm there.
Can you send your dad to work for you?
No, probably not. You've got to look after the kids.
True.
That's the whole point of him being up here, by the way.
Oh yeah, because your holidays are earlier than ours.
Yeah, kids are on school holidays now for 2 weeks. Anyway, so that's me, and that's where I am pretty much. There's you.
Yeah. So mine, I feel quite difficult with mine. So Pickford in goal is not good, really. Gabriel, Milenkovic, Robinson in defence. It's not Vardiol. It's not Munoz. Robinson's. It's not ideal. I don't mind playing Robinson. Is as I said, Fulham. I think they cleaned there last season. Let alone I know that they won. But so Robinson missed the break or didn't go to the US MNT for tendonitis. He did the old sorry guys with a picture of his knees because that makes it better. And then he came off in 70 minutes on the weekend. So he captained the team, but came off on 70 minutes. And you were like, oh, okay. That's probably a sign that he is sore. And Sessegnon's right there. And you're like, it's another game in the midweek. It's definitely not ideal. So Robinson to Munoz is one that I could do. And actually, it's my weakest link in my team. And I could just walk away with that and go, the only player I don't really like this week is Pickford. Because my midfield is my 5 penalty takers of Palmer, Bumo, Bruno, Cliver, and Salah. And then up front, I've got Isak and Evan Nelson. You change Robinson to Munoz in this, and it's an all right team. It's a good team. The bits that I was hating, prior to today was no Haaland cap and no Palace. But you're bringing in those Palace attackers in. You're bringing them in to take out. either Evan Nielsen, home to Ipswich, or Bruno and Bumo, who are class assets. It doesn't need wildcard, definitely, for me. However, the bench is light as hell because I've got Wood and Mikolenko, and then I've got Colwill, home to Tottenham. So also, if someone missed out, it gets a lot crappier. Not saying they probably would miss out, but if they did, the players are there. But if, say, for example, Palmer has a setback or something and misses it, that team immediately looks dog shit.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, if Evan Nielsen came off in 70 minutes today when they were losing 2-1, again, tells you he's not quite full fitness. Dan goes right there. Does Dango just play up front and he comes off the bench on those things? These are the sort of things that could happen, and I haven't got the flexibility of a big bench behind me. So yeah, I've either got to hold my nerve, but I think it's too weak to roll. I think I have to make that move. And what I'm going to do is do the move of Robinson to Munoz tonight because Robinson looks like dropping.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sarr and Isak, by the way, look like going up tonight. Hope you're not tired.
I'm knackered, mate.
But
23,000 steps today. It's quite a lot.
Hero. So I'll probably do Robinson and Munoz tonight, make my team look nice, like it's okay, and then think about it. Think about it tomorrow.
Fair enough. Well, we better look at a wildcard draft, I guess. Or should we, before we do that, should we just look at the sort of focus for game week 30 for people who maybe not wildcarding? Obviously, we've got the graphics.
For people that have used it.
Yeah, we've got the graphics, obviously, for from Rob T. And as always with these graphics, what we're looking for is we're looking for more than 2 projected goals and more than a 40% chance of a clean sheet. Quite a lot of opportunities for cleans this week, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Palace, 38%, but you've also got City at 46, Bournemouth at 42, Liverpool at 46, and Arsenal at 50. I'd just like to highlight the Palace at 38, playing Southampton, City, playing Leicester, Bournemouth, playing Ipswich. Target relegation teams. Target relegation teams.
Jesus Christ.
And there's plenty over 2 goals, right? I mean, like even Arsenal's obviously drops. I mean, like their attack has been weak. They have not been creating as much recently. And Newcastle 2.1. I mean, are they going to still be a little bit hungover?
Brighton Villa, right? Like they've both played FA Cup and now both playing again.
Yeah. Well, Brighton played 120 minutes as well.
Brighton played 120 minutes, and Villa played today, and now they both play again Tuesday.
Yeah, so it's just gonna be like 0-0, or
so
perfect.
Yeah.
Liverpool obviously home to Everton, Chelsea at home to Spurs over 2 there, 2.3, City at 3. Although whether that I mean these were pre-Haaland injury, so whether that comes down, but it won't come down.
What's it going to come down to? What 2.6, 2.7?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is some goal share stuff there that I'm from a Haaland perspective. There's some goal share stuff that will drop that, I think, because he does suck up the chances.
But that's why Marmoush is suddenly going to become. It just becomes. It. He's the floozy. He's the floozy of this wild card because we can talk ourselves narratives. But in my brain, I'm like, right, I predicted he wouldn't play against Forest and he didn't, and I predicted he wouldn't play this game and he didn't, and I predicted he would play Brighton and he did. So I know it. I can tame this beast. I'm all in on that fucking limited minutes fucker. Yeah. This is what is it this is in the Simpsons where it's like the same word for crisis as opportunity. Crisitunity.
Why do I not know that? I've seen
everything. Must know that.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, at least do know.
Crisitunity.
So that Homer says it. Yes, Crisitunity.
Oh, that's classic.
I'm sure
it's classic. I will be YouTubing that as soon as I've finished.
This is it. This is Crisitunity.
Crisitunity.
Because yes, we might have to press some buttons, but fuck me, like we've got 4 teams over 40%. This is the stuff we get excited about, and that doesn't include Palace, right?
Yeah.
And then we've got
Five
what we've
teams
got,
over 2 that don't include Arsenal or Palace.
yeah, and then we've got Brighton and Arsenal knocking on the door.
Yeah.
It's it's a big week. So as much as I feel like I'm talking myself into wildcard here, by the way. I don't know if anyone's noticed this in the narratives. This is what they're hearing. But because I'm sitting there and going, yes, Bruno's a great asset, but 1.23%, 223 protected goals, yeah, against Forest is it's not good, is it? Bruno, yes, you're great, but what is the risk if I take him out? Well, 1.28 goals.
Yeah, I mean, no, this isn't how it works, obviously, but yeah, it's basically 2.5 combined.
Combined as those teams,
Yeah.
but other people do exist in those teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even if they get one return each, you'll be okay. You just don't want the 15 pointers. Yeah, admittedly, I don't need to, but I am looking at this and thinking, oh, hello, because I'm swapping out, say, for example, Bumo for Mateta. I'm swapping out, so Evan Nilsson's probably the one that I'm looking at a bit wary of. I'm swapping Evan Nilsson effectively for Marmouche, and I'm like, But I'll be swapping Sarr for Bruno in this. There's quite a lot of open play guys.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
we're sort of bringing in.
I like your point on Evan Nilsson actually going off today. It doesn't feel like a game that Iriola really has to risk too much home to Ipswich, does it? It feels like a game you can plonk him. You could plonk Dango in there.
It's not like Dango didn't do badly. Like he's done brilliantly. No. I thought it was interesting that Dango didn't come on for Evan Nilsson though. Dango did come on for Christie on like 56 minutes. And then Jefferson came on for Evan Nilsson in the end. The other thing with Dango is that was interesting was obviously Kirkez was banned. Dango, we've talked about, will Dango back to left back or something like that?
Yeah.
They didn't. They played Julio Sola there.
Yeah.
That suggests to me he's not going to be used as auxiliary left back
No,
or any
he's
of that
just not a
stuff.
weapon.
Weapon. And a good weapon against someone like Ipswich.
Mm.
So, yeah, I love a strong think, but it's one of those where it's at the moment the reason I'm not is because I've been really lucky and I didn't have Haaland. And you're like,
It's so
is
frustrating. From my side, it's so frustrating.
Is that luck a blessing or a curse? Do you know what I mean? And
we spent so long discussing like, will Haaland play against Leicester because he played against Bournemouth? And I'm like, well, yeah, I still think he would have played on Tuesday. On Wednesday.
I can't claim I was right there where I was trying to put doubt in your mind that would happen because that's what I'm saying. Like this game, there is so much jam that happens.
Yeah.
Like that's such a tiny contact as it slides down. Did you see like how it looked so slight? Like it was like at first the commentators when it happened thought that it was because he hit the advertising board in, but it wasn't that. You could see as it went that there was just that tiny moment of the toes dragging and the pressures on the back of the heel, and you were like, that's ankle ligaments,
ankle ligament, Achilles, that kind of thing. That shit doesn't recover too quickly.
It just needs a bit of rest as well.
It does need rest
at best.
Yeah. I'll scan it and whatever else.
Yeah.
Oh, just
so you're wildcarding.
Yeah. And I didn't mention this actually while looking at my team, but the no Salah piece, right? The no Salah piece, no Isak piece is a problem.
Yes, this is a problem.
So let's look at this. So we've put this wildcard team together. So Baker will timestamp this. Wildcard draft. No one is going to watch the previous 45 minutes. They're just going to click to this bit.
If you do click to this bit, then at least give it a like.
Yeah.
if you, do you know what I mean? Like, if you just used and abused us and you've just gone straight to the wildcard draft, tap a little like.
I love that that's the first thing you said. Also, at the same time, I'd like you to like it, and then what I want you to do is I want you to put this team in and find out you're like me and can't actually fucking afford it. You're like, shit, now I need to make changes. So for those listening, this is a wildcard draft. So we have Raya in goal, Gabriel, Munoz, Guardiol, Timber, and Dina at the back. Palmer, Sarr, Salah, Cliver, and Jacob Murphy midfield. Isak, Mateta, Marmouche up top. Okay, pretty good team. Pretty good team. If you are Baker, which you are, Baker, then you have 0.3 million in the bank when you build this team.
Yeah.
If you are Adam, which I am, then you need to find another 1.4 million from somewhere to try and afford this team. Like so this is going back to when you were saying earlier about, did you think thinking you were like behind the eight ball a little bit with not having Haaland, and that injury basically has kind of flipped it on its head to the point where I sold Salah, I sold Isak, and I was also short. I was slightly short of money in terms of versus you anyway. I think I was about 0.7 million behind. But I have 0.7 million less to spend, and yet I because you still own those players, it's a 1.7 million difference. It's absolutely insane. So
it's big.
I need to look at this. So if I was to look at this, right, I have to basically find 1.4 million just to afford it. So that's like Raya down to Areola, for example. There's $1 million. Yep. Palmer down, or I could just do Palmer down to.
Yeah, Palmer goes.
Palmer goes to
we mentioned earlier, but the one things I wouldn't do, I wouldn't have Palmer and have Timber. I wouldn't actually do that because I'd only have Palmer in if I was like, I'm putting Palmer here as almost a placeholder for Saka.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
But maybe there'd be enough confirmation bias that, to be honest, by tomorrow we might just go, let's just go Saka.
Well, yeah, maybe.
There might be a world where we just say, don't actually need him in, and I can just put Saka straight in, because that actually gives you some more money.
Yeah.
Like, just on this team alone, if, for example, you would have quite a lot of money. So if you put Mikalenko back in Saka instead of Palmer, that basically creates like 2 million. But what I'm saying is, if you took a defender that was around 4.5 million quid,
which I'd probably be looking to do with, like, if I wanted to do that with like I don't know, West Ham.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka. So let's do Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah,
4.5. Play Southampton in 33.
Yeah, perfect.
Or Kilman.
4 point. No,
whatever.
Wan-Bissaka's 4.8. I think Kilman's 4.5.
So if I do on this Palmer to Saka and Timber to Wan-Bissaka, I would have 2 million quid in the bank.
Yeah.
Which means that definitely you can afford it.
Yeah, true.
Well, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Just on the chat, so Sean said about upgrading Sarr to Eze. You could do in that's one. I think that's one of those ones. It's interesting here where when everyone had Haaland in their team, you definitely would have had Sarr, almost not Eze, because of the cheap. It's much cheaper. Where people suddenly got a bit more money, the temptation is to move the guys around. I just think Sarr's good. If anything,
I mean, he's definitely. I mean, from an output perspective, he's definitely more efficient than Eze. But you see, it depends. I think I'd probably just prefer. I'd probably prefer Eze because I'd prefer probably watching him on the ball, because I know that I can see him on the ball while he's playing. Sarr feels like Boomo without penalties, right? Sarr's basically honestly, Boomo without pens.
If Bournemouth had the double, and Haaland was fit, I would have done Isak, Evan Nielsen, Haaland straight up, and I wouldn't have had Mateta. I'd have had Sarr. as midfielders in my team. I think now, no Haaland, everyone else hasn't got a double. I'm like, it feels just really obvious to have Isak, Mateta, Marmoush as your front three.
Yeah.
Feels really obvious, doesn't it? That front three feels obvious as you like.
Well, you've got the best striker for the week. You've probably got the best two strikers for the week. And then you've got...
Probably the best three strikers of the league, really.
I'd probably still have Evan Nilsson.
I don't know. I think I'd always have anyone against Fleck, and if they're as good as Isak, then I probably would be absolutely fine with
Fleck
it.
hasn't been terrible. He's been all right. He hasn't been that bad. It's that's historical bias from you, mate.
Yeah. Other questions people are going to have is like, how do you get Haaland in 33? It's a valid question. It's one of those questions where you're like, well, what I actually really want to do is just do very little in the next few weeks. It's another reason why I like this premium midfielder option. If you can go with a Saka or go with a Palmer, like if I went Palmer, then I have the option to flex it either to Haaland or Saka. If I went which you can sort of just do Palmer and Isak. It's like exactly what people were looking to do previously. You could do like Palmer, Isak to Rodgers and Haaland.
Yeah,
there you go. Job done. So and then you don't get Saka, but if you triple up on the defense, it's probably all right. I do think if there's an option to try and keep yourself an expensive midfielder, I would do it.
I don't think I can keep an expensive midfielder. Like that's the thing. I just don't think I can. It's really difficult for me to actually have one.
I think you can, but I think you have to just question how much you want to spend on your defenders, because you can only play 3 defenders each week. Like, and in 32,
you only have to play 3 defenders each week. You have to play a minimum of 3 defenders.
I think when you wildcard for the first 3-4 weeks after that, it's just unlikely. It's just unlikely. Like is this week it's tough. Next week, it also looks pretty tough. You get to 32 and you're playing whatever Palace or Newcastle defenders you got. But actually you're also looking at it and saying, well, Gabriel's home to Brentford, so I'm definitely playing him. If you had Dina in your team, you'd be away to Southampton in that week.
Yeah, true.
And Vardy's home to Palace. Like you've already got difficult decisions as soon as like when you bring Jacob Murphy into your team in 32, you're like, who the hell am I benching? Clive at home to Fulham or Marmoush home to Palace? Well, you don't hedge, but you'd bench Marmoush, obviously.
I probably would, yeah, because Palace are incredible away from home as well. Just to add that.
Also, what this does do is it does actually open up, if you wanted to, if a few things, maybe the fixtures didn't go quite right, this actually is a pretty good bench boost in 32. So currently, if you did the swap here of Saka instead of Palmer and Wan-Bissaka instead of Timber, probably the only one is to look at is the Wan-Bissaka one, because he's away to Liverpool in 32. Yeah. But everybody else, your bench should probably sit something like Raya home to Brentford, Marmoush home to Palace, Dina away at Southampton, and then you have a player.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Anyone cheap with a good fixture in 32 and 33 defensively?
Defensively,
I mean, you could just double up, get Konza too.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Colwell. Come back to Colwell.
Colwell.
I know. Yeah. It's funny because obviously you're thinking about taking him out, but Colwell.
Stupinan.
Is he cheap though? I'm sure he's 5 mil, isn't he?
Yeah, about 5 minutes, a bit expensive
Yeah,
for it.
too much.
Van Heck though, someone
Van
like him,
Heck. You
cheaper.
can't get any. You just keep Milenkovic, no? Everton and then Spurs.
But obviously, if you're going early in 30, having a 32 option on bench boost is quite handy.
Yeah, I think. I mean, to be fair, I'd probably just go Wan-Bissaka or Kilman and just take the 2-pointer or the 1-pointer against
Yeah.
Liverpool and just let
But
the sum of the better players around you be better, that be enough just to carry that one player.
the thing about the 32 bench boost, which I really like, so we're just straight off topic here, but the 32 bench boost that I really like is I would then keep my Newcastle guys in 33 because I wouldn't really have a lot of issue to do much with them. Like I'd probably just be like, well, Murphy can just sit on my bench. If I wanted to, I could put, say, Cliver away. Yeah. And you can have, what have I got there? I could have 9 doublers plus Salah at Leicester and Isak at Villa. And thanks very much. Like, that's pretty good. I have 3 transfers in the bank. Let's assume nothing goes wrong.
Of course.
Free hit in 34, come back to 4 transfers in 35.
Yeah, wishful thinking.
Well, maybe those things are wishful thinking, but they're less wishful thinking if you do play that bench boost in 32.
Yeah.
That's one thing I just look at when you're wild carding is just look at the 32 bench boost because I don't think if you think about it, you're going to have 6 players. One of the things you could look at immediately is I must have 6 players from Newcastle and Palace. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got 6 doublers.
Yeah.
3 of those will double again in 33.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how many other doublers am I going to get on it? And on yours currently sitting there
Well, you
4.
definitely have 3 Arsenal.
Yeah, even if you didn't have by then, you'd
You would
use a
have
transfer to get to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not making any transfers. You're going to be like.
Well, I wouldn't if I bench boost in 32. If I
Yeah.
do it in 33,
Okay.
then I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
keep attacking. But I'll likely go into 35 with very little.
Yeah. Agreed. Fair enough.
I'll likely go into 35 with very little. Because if I went to 33 and had to bench boost, then I would almost certainly take out Jacob Murphy and Cliver and get maybe like a Roger. Well, Rogers would definitely come in. You might even do Rogers and Rashford or something like that and go nuts. But then do I want those Villa guys in 35 when they've got European games? Don't know. Don't know. Well, we're all going to have to try and listen to and watch as much commentary, much content as possible the next few days, get some nice ideas, see what's happening. Apparently, I saw Andy Mack mentioned earlier, Mr. Krellin is playing his wild card, so he definitely would have played through these permutations of stuff. So I'm sure people will watch that. I'm sure the wild guys will do their bit, or the solo guys are going to do their bit.
Harry was on earlier. I didn't catch that, but I will probably go back and watch bits of it. Although I'm guessing there'll be a video out tomorrow from Harry as well. So loads and loads of stuff will be happening in the next 24 hours.
I think really importantly, people like Harry, Andy, Raptor, these guys, solo guys, they're good managers. They're really good managers. I mean, Harry's literally as good as can be. I think everyone's going to be really tempted to just move it to their team and go, I'll have that team, thanks. But everyone's got different numbers of transfers in the bank. Yeah, everyone's got different team value. Yeah, you do want to listen a little bit. You do want to listen a little bit to it. One of the things that I do sometimes when I want to get the content quickly is I load the transcript up. So I just have that down the side and then I'll just flick through what they're talking about. I'm not interested in that. I can just move forward a bit. But because we've got to be concise for the next 48 hours or so. But I wouldn't completely skip those solo guys, especially, and just be like, I want to go straight to that team. There's reasons behind the madness for a lot of us.
Cool. Well, I think finishing on an hour is bang on. I think that's enough because, as you said, there's going to be loads going on over the next 24, 48 hours. It's also Mother's Day. So I do want to make sure that everything's all right downstairs. And hold on. Whoa, hold on. M. Dyer's just said 107.8 million team value. What? Like, what?
Go to FPL team and click summary and tell us what your sell value is.
This is what we want. Right. So I'm just going to show you before we go. Let's see if I've still got it on screen. Just so that I don't mess this up. So hopefully.
Because my team value is 104.6. And that's all right. That's pretty good.
Yeah, my team value is not 104.6.
107.8. That's insane.
So my team value is 102.7. But that is because I've sold all the players that I've gained value in. But if you go to to FPL.team, so this is the best place to find it. Hopefully that comes up there. Perfect. And I will just take this out slightly. Nope, that's not worked. Hold on, play that again. Come on, man.
Wait.
Why has that happened?
This is great content. This is just your audio only fucked right now. Give
Absolutely.
It up.
Hold on. Oh, this is why. Because I've actually turned my keyboard off. That helps. Right, let's try it with the keyboard on. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Look, see?
Wait.
It works. That works. Right. So it's not great. It's not very big, right? But let's just take this bit here. You want summary. And you want to ignore all the transfers that I've made. And you want this number here. What is your spending power? That is mine. 101.9.
101.9.
That's a big. That's the number.
Yeah. See the difference in my spending power to your spending is only 0.6. But the issue is that you need to buy back some of the guys that I've kept.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. I mean, people saying their selling value is like 105.1, 105.6, 105 point. Like, I'm dead to you guys. I can't catch you guys. Like,
nah.
Like 105.6 versus 101.9.
But they'll use it on one player.
It's basically a player.
They'll do Gordon when we do Murphy. That's what they'll do. It'll be one player.
That's fine.
Because everyone looks at it. It's normally just one gamble we need to take.
It's fine. It's all good.
They'll do Saliba, not Timber. Do you know what I mean? If we do one of those, they won't be fucking with those ones. They'll do stupid stuff like me, which is looking at spending 10.5 million quid on keepers. That's stupid.
It's quite a lot. Right. Let's leave it there. Guys, thank you very much. Remember to hit the like button on YouTube, hit subscribe. If you're listening back on podcast, make sure you rate us 5 stars, and we would really appreciate that. Baker, it's been a long time, mate. Been a long time without actually having a chat, but it's been good to catch up, and we will see you again as like a little hybrid team selection / review for after game week 30, which will probably be
Friday,
because we won't be podding on the Thursday because it's Chelsea Spurs.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone. Shout out to Crypto Blockdown as always. Patreon.com/above-average FPL, and of course the wonderful guys over at Never Say Die Bourbon. So thanks to those guys. We will see you guys in a few days. Good luck for game week 30. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
What we doing?